the Chief Justice, Madam Tokonu, what is beneath it? The Chief Justice said, me too quine, a official traveler, then also ye. And the Chief Justice said, me too quine, a personal traveler, then also ye. Because, say, ye the distinction between the two are. Because I'm paying this up, I don't want to be my TV so I can say, no crane or can boboa. And as the Chief Justice of Ghana, Obia or interpreting Emra should know, especially when cases like that to crumple about Semuda. When you know the law and when you know, say, and yet equate to mean some things are not supposed to be done, especially in your position.
From 3 different quarters have reached me, all of which allege some wrongdoing against the person of the Chief Justice and demanded her removal from office. The 1992 Constitution is clear that in the event of receipt of a petition of this nature, the president ought to take some steps.
Uzia asosa be na ye twan sechingo na ni so adoko sese kan dia hye gem otomfo die ni bi aha eye konkonku TV so enen sema sisi papa pade ho apaso eye Chief Justice Mama Gertrude Araba Isabato kunu ho nsemo a efiti ewianum enanomanitifu bi hye ase bobre masema mi hwie benenkwa wie de ni suspend no ampanampa ni nuane ampa suspension no alande se kekra na die nti a empanifo tu za na mo ne mpempansu o maduru no panyina okasa de ma aban wa bankasie mu Felix Kwachofusu ene yenuanom channel 1 TV edi nkomo ehun nsem ewa ha na afensuso ansa na nokra no na Kevin Taylor nso ensem a wode atudwa ede afa ho efa ensem a good evening Ghana host Paula Domochre editudwa efa Mama Gertrude Araba Isabato konu a aso defend no so emfa na Kevin Taylor nso edene de ebehwehwe mu suspension no ampanampa ne nuane ampa alande so ampa masese de mama ne ya suspend no my justice Bafo Boni ena ayakte ese Ghana Chief Justice CCI mampanyini mama ena krata yi wamode aba emonten so dabuzia hu video ni ade no ho yenkwabu ani akọ makai so be subscribe wa share wa like na wa comment amaye.
Gained momentum after the presidency confirmed receipt of 3 petitions demanding her dismissal. In a statement dated March 25, 2025, the presidency announced that it had initiated consultations with the Council of State to determine whether a prima facie case had been established in accordance with Article 146 of the Constitution, but the process packed legal challenges. 2 individuals, including Member of Parliament Vincent Ekwesafua, questioned the constitutionality of the move, as Efua filed a suit at the Supreme Court contending that the Chief Justice should have been allowed to respond to the allegations before the president commenced consultations with the Council of State. The case remains before the court, with multiple adjournments stalling a ruling on an interlocutory injunction filed by his counsel, former Attorney General Godfrey Yeboah-Damen. Meanwhile, March 28, 2025, Chief Justice Tokonu wrote to the president requesting copies of the petitions and a specific time frame to respond. The presidency complied, granting her a 10-day window to present her defense. However, the president raised concerns over the leak of her letter to the media. By April 7, 2025, the Chief Justice had formally responded to all 3 petitions meeting the deadline. Following a review of her submissions and continued consultation with the Council of State, President Mahama concluded that the prima facie case had been made. On April 22, 2025, Minister of State in charge of government communications confirmed that President Mahama had issued a formal warrant suspending the Chief Justice.
Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution, that is 146(10), also stipulates that while this is done, the president has power to suspend the Chief Justice pending the final determination of the matter. And that is exactly what President Mahama has done. So every step of the way, President Mahama has shown fidelity to the 1992 Constitution. He has gone strictly by the book and done things in the way that the Constitution specifically provides they
5-member committee has since been constituted to investigate the petitions. It includes Supreme Court Justices Gabriel Pullman and Samuel Esiedu, former Auditor General Daniel Yadomlevo, Major Flora Dalugu of the Ghana Armed Forces, and Professor James Gisa of the University of Ghana. In line with constitutional provisions, Justice Paul Bafuboni has been appointed acting Chief Justice pending the outcome of the investigation.
Of the 1992 Constitution. A couple of weeks ago, I'm sure you recall that I issued a statement in which I informed the Ghanaian public on behalf of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama that 3 petitions from 3 different quarters have reached me, all of which allege some wrongdoing against the person of the Chief Justice and demanded her removal from office. The 1992 Constitution is clear that in the event of receipt of a petition of this nature, the President ought to take some steps. In fact, it is not unprecedented. Just before President took over, in the dying members of the Akufo-Addo administration, a similar petition was received. Then President Akufo-Addo went through the same process that President Mahama has gone through up to this point. So what was the process? Article 146 of the Constitution says that when such a petition is received, the President must consult with the Council of State to determine whether there is prima facie, in other words, there is basis to continue to look into those petitions. And the President did precisely that. He informed the Council of State and told them that he wanted to consult them in order that he forward the petitions to the Chief Justice for her comments, in order to facilitate the determination of the prima facie case. This was done. The petitions were then forwarded to the Chief Justice. She provided her response. The consultation process continued between President Mahama and the Council of State to determine whether, when you set the petition or its contents against the Chief Justice's responses, the petition was frivolous or that there was basis to inquire further into them. The consultation process between the Chief Justice and the Council of State yielded an outcome which said that there was basis to proceed further and that the petition was not frivolous on the face of it if you set it side by side with the Chief Justice's response. Now, the Constitution prescribes that if that determination is made, there are a number of things that must happen. The first is that a committee made up of 5 persons, 2 of whom, I beg your pardon, are justices of the Supreme Court with 1 chair, and 3 other members of the public who are neither members of the Council of State nor lawyers. So if you look at the statement I just issued, that requirement is fully met. Now, Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution, that is 146(10), also stipulates that while this is done, the President has power to suspend the Chief Justice pending the final determination of the matter. And that is exactly what President Mahama has done. So every step of the way, President Mahama has shown fidelity to the 1992 Constitution. He has gone strictly by the book and done things in the way that the Constitution specifically provides they should be done.
Committee but you are looking at it as a holistic blunder. In team for joy a press conference. I catch Ghana for say or evidence say cocaine abakutuka. So in team for joy say, oh, he's under the NPP group. But when Team Fojo was speaking, he said he has evidence. But the moment you go in to arrest him, now MPP Faba say, oh, he's a member of parliament. He has parliamentary immunity. So you cannot arrest him out of the lot. And that is what the NPP are doing. And that is what they are using Paul Adumochimo and the idea to do. And they are trying to create a story or create an impression, say, the Chief Justice, Madam Tokonu, committed no crimes or has committed no crime in office. Now, Momiantia Paul Adumochimo for 2, 3, 4 minutes. Maybe I will show you where and how they are trying to lie to you. Madam Tokonu has committed a crime. And as the Chief Justice of Ghana, Obia or interpreting Imra should know especially when cases like that grandpa about semuda. When you know the law and when you know say, some things are not supposed to be done, especially in your position. Now, let's listen to Paul Ademotre. Now, the Obuba and say, I'm the creative idea. Say, oh, I'm who petition the womb. Media me who the petition. Today, say Attorney General frame me. No, because Kevin, do you know what is the petition? I have no evidence, so I cannot speak to the petition. Maybe Paul Ademotre the who petition, no, and I don't know. I don't think the president will show the petition to Paul Ademotre, and I don't think the Council of State will show the petition to Paul Ademotre. The people who are close to the Chief Justice are the NPP people. So if Paul Ademotre is speaking on what is in the petition, then maybe it came from the Chief Justice who had a copy from the presidency. Because when the Chief Justice was taking the petition from the presidency, it was sealed. It is Paul Ademotre on TV trying to make it look like they have an idea of what the petitioners put in the petition. Then it means either the Chief Justice who received the petition from the president has leaked some of the information to Paul Ademotre. But you know, from what I am seeing, the kind of things that Paul Ademotre are trying to beat down are the things that are somehow more difficult for the Chief Justice to answer. And anytime I say, as I sit here, I have no knowledge about the petition. I am going to base this my editorial on what Paul Ademotre actually spoke on, and he was letting us believe, say, those are the things he knows, say, a petition. So what Paul Ademotre has seen, or what has been leaked for him to see, me, I have not seen it. I am basing this editorial on what Paul Ademotre is saying. Now let's go listen to Paul Ademotre. We are making sure my DB.
Daniel Foy starts with money, suspecting that Justice Tokono has spent some money, and she used some money to travel, and the money that she used to travel is not for her, it's for government, and blah, 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 blah. Let's look at it. Okay. This is on the left is the allegation that Chief Justice misappropriated a sum of 261,000 Ghana cedis of public funds for private travel. Daniel Foy further alleges that the CJ traveled with her spouse, that is her husband, and child with the aforementioned public funds, when her spouse and child are neither members of the judiciary nor work within the judicial service. So this is Daniel Foy's first allegation. There are three categories of allegation: financial, court matters, and then another one. I'll show you all. Give me just 5 minutes. So this is the matter, that she has spent this amount of money traveling with her husband and her daughter. This is what we found. That the said travel package is provided for in paragraph A9 of the policy on foreign travels by the head of the judiciary and superior courts judges, approved in 2010 and reviewed in 2019. And it allows the CJ to bring along a spouse and another person of her choice on foreign travels. This has served 4 Chief Justices, to wit, Georgina Wood, Sophia Kufu, Justice Eni Yeboah, and Justice Tokono, the present CJ. So where is Daniel Ofori coming from? Even we were able to find the policy on travel, and that's what we did. Once we saw the thing, I said, okay, let's get the policy. Today is what, Tuesday? We've been working on this since, I think, last Friday. So we said, let's get the policy. Is there not a policy for traveling? So we picked up the policy. It is clear in there. And in fact, in some of the instances we saw, Justice Tokono, when she traveled, she came back and returned cash of nearly $9,000 to the judicial service. That I didn't spend all the money. This is the rest of the money. When I saw it, I was telling my people that, but this, my Lord,
because the Jew man say, I'm creating impression, be say, Obi time Chief Justice. Now, Chief Justice in your bonnet. You see, inside the wagon, the heat is different. Now, let's take our time and enter the travel policy, and then show you documents of what the Chief Justice actually did. Now, before I go in, I will take my time and explain to you the travel policies, the official travel policy and the personal travel policy. In the travel policy, what is beneath it? The Chief Justice said, "Me too coin a official traveler, then also ye." And the Chief Justice said, "Me too coin a personal traveler, then also ye." Because say the distinction between the two are. Because I'm paying this up Paul Ademotre with my TV so I can say we are killing Jandam. Now, before I go into the document, my mentor there. official travel, send the Chief Justice Kase Otu Kwaya. Emrani say, I was say, so Kase Onini Kunube to Kwaya. This is under official travel. The Chief Justice Onini Kunube to Kwaya or call a London, a official travel. That's what Kase Odini Kunube Kanwa. Now, because Odini Kunu Kahono, a official travel, no, the Chief Justice ne pay them £1,000 or 1,000 Ghana cedis a day. Nikunu will take half of that per them. The husband will be paid 500 Ghana cedis. See, Sunday, Wahana as a Chief Justice Koye to maybe London. Now, London no no, a Ghana dimunti no oko. It's a official travel. Now, as a Chief Justice or call London or the Nikunu Kano Mwakwa. The Chief Justice a day beyond you bet you pay them $1,000. I will send you Kunu, your money Kunu $500. That is what the travel policy for the judiciary says. Now, the Chief Justice Yana Agini say, Obeko holidays, personal traveler, Emrani our travel policy will say, the only person she can go with is the bodyguard. That means the Constitution and the government only recognizes the Chief Justice and her bodyguard. So because the Constitution recognizes the Chief Justice and her bodyguard, it means the government will only pay for the Chief Justice and her bodyguard. It also said these are two travels. And these two travels all falls under travel policy. But Paul Adamochi also law school or born to one passing. And he's diabolic or control. Into Benjina, he created an impression to say the travel or summing in our app or lumping it together. And or the Ghana for say Chief Justice in Bonibia. May the American say, I am not dealing with a petition. I am dealing with what I will tell you, say, a judicial audit and none I may be dealing with. The petition, I have nothing about me, about the petition. I've not seen a word in the petition, so I can't speak on the petition. But Paul Adamochi also who petition, no? And he was trying to tell us that they all petition, but I'm going to use the audit, the judicial audit service. Also, the judiciary, the judicial service, the secretary, every year they audit the judiciary. And the judicial service, things you do, the law itself will tell you, you are not supposed to do. And when they do the audit now, they will state it in there, say, so when Dibonia, this is a crime. The judiciary itself, more audit, the reason why they do the audit is say they know some judges can abuse the law. They know the judges, some of them can abuse power and it's not audit. And it's not the reason why I say they know say judges no say they can be corrupted. Only say judges no and so that is why the judiciary itself, the judicial service, they have a special audit for the judiciary. Because say Sebio and you having a park and game bompire and I say young boy brai. And it's almost the judicial office judicial service. Another almost here auditing of judges travels near the idea. Then they also want to fish out judges who are trying to be corrupt, who are abusing the law, who are basically spending on us. We paying for expenses we are not supposed to pay. Do you understand? Don't get it twisted. Paul Adamochi was lying. He was lying. But you see, they want to create a picture to say a personal attack on Madam Tokonu. Madam Tokonu, who need that? I don't know her. I only work with the facts. Now let me show you something. Team, stay with me. So the judicial service actually had an audit on all the judges in Ghana, especially the Supreme Court judges. In fact, the Supreme Court judges. And in the audit, the judicial audit, some findings, they came to some conclusion. They got they saw some abnormalities. They saw some illegalities. That's the word I'm looking for. Illegalities. Now let's go into the audit of the judiciary. This document I'm going to put on the screen. So the judicial service they should release a statement and say this is a fake document. This is the legitimate document. Omwankasa they publish here. Omwankasa our file also. Now look at this. You see this document? document where draft management letter, the Judicial Secretary, Judicial Services, and Tiosha April 24th. Now, draft management letter on the accounts of Judicial Service, that's JS, for the period January to December 2023. Into audits are omuye or Judicial Services 2023 audit NE. This is a legitimate document. Me fancy ye be publish it. Ubi ankai na mon friend Judicial Secretary and say Kevin Taylor has published this. Is it a lie? Mr. P, Mr. S. Now, Shadia, when you read the first page of the audit, this is what they say. Introduction. Mami and Lajen said you can follow what I'm reading. I always try to do that because MPP4 especially. It's always good for you to see the oho. Now, when you read it, this is what it says. We have audited the accounts and other related records of the Judicial Service in accordance with Article 187, Clause 2 of the 1992 Constitution and Section 11, Subsection 1 of the Audit Service Act 2000, Act 584, for the period January to December 2023. Now, this is what it says. Point 2. The following observations and recommendations made during the audit had been discussed with the key personnel, and their responses, where appropriate, had been incorporated in this management letter. 3. We shall be grateful to receive your response within 30 days after receipt of this management letter as required by Section 29 of the Audit Service Act 2000, Act 584. Now, point 2, let me read and break it down. Senebeya, PZ4 Mudimatem, Sebio Omubiomunko School, MPP Boom, so we are Quasia, Omabeti Nasi. Where audit service for Omelette Omutroye statement I'm releasing in say we have audited the accounts and other related records of the Judicial Services in accordance with Article 87, Clause 2 of the 1992 Constitution and Section 11, Subsection 1 of the Audit Service Act 2000 for the period January to January 2020, December 2023. It says this: the following observations and recommendations made during the audit had been discussed with the key personnel, and their responses, where appropriate, had been incorporated in this management letter. Almost say, your audit. Now, audits now, my no. I sikasemun kunta in church will be bia. Now, Sabio, auditing in area, and I sikasemu, send ye say sika, send ye sikania, the ading in area. Omo bam. Mo kwachi wumuno. Treleta koma sanko for the gina air train say, Omodi Omanu ye ebeba. It means say, audit Judicial Service here audit they actually wrote to the people who were found to say they have done something against the acts and answer the clause and answer the Article 187. If they had not committed any crime, saying Bonibia contrary to Article 187, those people wouldn't have been written to by the audit service or the Judicial Service to answer questions. The reason why some judges were written to for their responses to be heard by the Judicial Services Audit Service, Judicial Services now, audit now. Say judge be antroa just a uniasem, unya bone. Bibian wa ya say was a fro. But the moment audit review, Nasia Casa Madam Tokunu, ya troleta bro, you know maybe anoa, meaning there were some things you did that are against or contrary to Article 187, meaning Wobum Raso. Especially when you are the Chief Justice or a Supreme Court judge who should know right. Now, Yanko Enim or documenting him. When you go to the next page of the document, this is what you see. You're reading boom. Let me enlarge it. Point 21 in this audit report. Disallowed expenditure. Remember the word, disallowed expenditure. $30,000 and 252,338 Ghana cedis. Sa Sikawe a disallowed expenditure, meaning Article 187 does not allow it, meaning you have committed a crime. Say audit near say some expenses are disallowed. It means it is not allowed. It means it goes against Article 187. Now let's read what the audit report this is what it says. Point 21. Regulation 78 of the Public Financial Management Regulations 2019 LI 2378 provides that a principal spending officer of a covered entity is personally responsible for ensuring, in respect of each payment of that covered entity, the validity, accuracy, and legality of the claim for the payment. 22. We observed during our review of the expenditure on foreign travels that, remember, the word is foreign travels. We observed during our review of the expenditure on foreign travels that the Honorable Lady Chief Justice traveled to Arusha, Tanzania, with her spouse, Mr. Francis Kofi Tokonu, instead of her security for her annual leave from 2nd to the 10th September 2023. Almost some way auditing, who say the Chief Justice actually traveled, foreign travel. Foreign travel, not any official trip, not a holiday. The Chief Justice traveled to Tanzania, and the law says, on one person a personal traveler, which is a traveler, only the bodyguard the bekono. She did not travel with her bodyguard. Instead, she traveled with her husband. Now, with this, it means the Chief Justice basically has flouted the law. Because when it comes to your personal holidays, you are supposed to, at the end of the day, go with your bodyguard. Now, if you don't go with your bodyguard and you go with your husband, that means you have to foot your husband's bills. You cannot drop your bodyguard and use government money to pay for your husband. The moment you drop your bodyguard on your vacation, it means if you decide to go with your husband has to pay for every single thing. His flights, his accommodation, his food, whatever he does. But what they found out in their investigations, the judicial audits, the Chief Justice traveled to Arusha, Tanzania, with her spouse, Mr. Francis Kofi Tokonu, instead of her security for her annual leave from 2nd to the 10th of September 2023. So one has been established. One crime has been established. She went on a holiday. Instead of her to go with her bodyguard to be paid for by the government, she dropped her bodyguard and went with her husband and forced the government to pay for her husband. That is one crime. All right. Now, 2.23. We also noted that the Honorable Lady Chief Justice embarked on another vacation. So the first vacation is gone, which she has already broken the law. The first vacation, she was supposed to take the bodyguard for the government to pay for the bodyguard's expenses. She dropped the bodyguard and put her husband in for the government to pay for her husband, which she knows is wrong. So that first crime has been committed. Now let's go again. This is not my document. This is the Judicial Service Audit Report 2023. We also noted the Honorable Lady Chief Justice embarked on another vacation, private foreign travel, from 16th to the 25th of September 2023.